So then, we are back with more understandings from the Renewed Covenant, from the Aramaic English translation of the Word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of Israel, the prophets of old, indicating us then the time of the end, and also the prophecies related with this last part of human history. So then, understanding the time of the end, via then the Yeshayahu, the 61st chapter, in the time of restoration, and then the nations, understanding also the time of rebuilding. Why then was then the prophetic understandings of the prophets so important for the nations? Because back in those days, the nations would go to Jerusalem to hear the words of Yahweh. That's why it's very important. There were no people during the time of those prophets that would concoct their own theories and then go into Jerusalem. Because Jerusalem was a place of being complete. This is what it means. So then the nations would go to Jerusalem to hear the words of Yahweh. So then, these days where we find ourselves during the time of election, quite amazingly there are candidates that are logical and candidates not very logical. So then let's try to set the record straight. From a logical viewpoint, nobody is speaking of religion. From a logical viewpoint, if you think a person has a lifestyle that does not fit you, then simply listen. From the viewpoint of being logic, personal lives are personal and those are private. Now, observe this. You have a candidate who does not have a plan. Several times went to the public and was asked, what is the plan? A person doesn't have a plan. Are you going to vote for a person without a plan? Then second, what kind of a religious system this person is involved with? A cult. Not only a cult, but then goes around baptizing dead Hebrews, dead Jews. Let me ask you this, are you going to vote for this person? Because you have to be honest with yourself. You don't have to be honest with anybody else. You have to be logical first. And then are you going to vote for a person who does not have economical plan? You give the person prior of the voting, then this is what the problem. You have these huge debts, and you have to manage those debts to make sure then your plan works. You can't even go through the first part of it. Are you going to vote for this person? Taking away religion and lifestyles. Leave those aside. But then, can a candidate work through the mathematics and arithmetic before going any further? At least vote for a person that has a plan. It might not be the best plan in the world, but at least is a plan. It's not a miracle worker trusting, and later then when they put numbers together it may work. When it doesn't. What else can a person say? It comes to a point that becomes absolutely ridiculous. You put together a problem in front of the person, how are you going to resolve this problem of the economical crisis? How are you going to make your plan to work? Explain it, and a person can't do it. How are you going to vote for the person? man, the GOP candidate, goes around mesmerizing the people with lies. He's a scoundrel. He does not even have the mathematics put together. And then people get mesmerized by his junk. What do you think he's going to do up there? He's going to increase taxes. That's the only way you can come up with a short. But then you don't even know what plan is it. What kind of a plan? Can you explain how you make those big numbers then coming together and working it out? No answer. First debate, no answer. Second debate, no answer. Third debate, no answer. GOP candidate is a scoundrel. You should be able to detect this in the first, second, and third debates. How do you make your plan then, these huge numbers, to work? And when you do the calculation, it doesn't work. Wouldn't you say next? Or you didn't believe it's some sort of a ghastly arithmetic? We're not speaking of lifestyles. A person can either be a straight person, or a gay, or a lesbian, or some other type of relationship person that likes to do. But then, do they have logic? Okay, let's ask a lesbian. What do you think of it? Well, Romney has no plan. Would you vote for him? No. Would you vote for Obama? At least he has a plan. Oh boy, oh girl, very nice answer. Did you ask a religious person, are you going to vote for the candidate, GOP candidate? Oh yeah, I'm going to vote for him. For what reason? Well, because... And they take the path of religion. And then, but do you understand the logic prior of it? Because God. No, God is logical. What is his economical plan? He doesn't have it, so why are you going to vote for him? What is the reason you are voting for him? Do you think God is going to come out of his throne in heaven, coming down to the earth in person and takes him by the hand and then do the numbers for him? No, he's going to increase taxes and he's going to print out more money. That's the only way you can do it. We can't compete with China's manufacturing. Come on. What is he trying to do? A miracle worker? Scoundrelized miracle worker? You give him the problem. What is the equation to resolve the problem? Doesn't know how to do the problem. Wouldn't you say next until you find those candidates that can resolve the problem? This means filtering, doesn't it? But then the Republicans, they let the crap go through. Not even a plan of basic mathematics, arithmetic. Person then can't resolve it. But then are they going to vote for him? They are truly retarded. And the GOP candidate does not have a solution for the problem. He doesn't have it. Don't think you can mesmerize yourself and think, oh, God is going to help. God is logic. He's going to say, what are the numbers? Could you resolve the problem? So then you can gain the trust of the people? No, couldn't resolve the problem. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to throw the whole nation back into the old practices. Know how does it work? Give you a sample. Oh, the crisis is very big. We understand this factor, and we are working on it as much as we can, as fast as you can, but so far, then you have to get a job, and then you have to be decent. You can't be laying around yourself, and then, you have to find a church. You have to be decent. You have to clean up yourselves. Come on. The trouble is already big enough. We are working as fast as we can, and then goes on and on and on. You find yourself at the end comparing yourself with the Scripture. Because it's the only way they can manipulate. That's why this scandalized Scripture was built for. Manipulation. These damn religious people, they don't have the answers. But then they know how to compare you with the Scripture, because since they don't have the answers, they have to come up with some sort of a having concocted theory, so then confuse you. And then you ever thought of, boy, why did we vote for this scoundrel? We knew this person had no plan. A mathematical equation was placed before him, and he couldn't resolve it. Why didn't we flush him out? Forget about religion. Be logical. And then when a person is lying, you know what a person do? Oh, because God's going to help us. Oh, yes, God's going to help us for sure. You vote for me, oh boy, oh girl, the whole nation is going to change. He, boy, came from a country that they had elections many times, and oh, people with so many scandalized ideas, and boy, we got to know their plans very quickly. And we were very fast in finding the person with a miracle junkie worker, scandalized miracle worker. Any job, if you get a job, you have to be logical. You have to go through a test. You have to go through an interview. Then, during the interview, you give those big numbers. How are you going to resolve this problem with the history that we have? Couldn't resolve the problem. Next. But then people get mesmerized because God is going to help. He's going to help. He's not going to help. Come on. Those tactics was already tried before. He's going to mesmerize the people. Oh, God, oh yes, God is going to help if you do your share, if you study, if you go to church, if you have your family, if you are responsible, if then you work. If there is a job or not, that's not the point, because God is going to come and help us. But then this God coming and help us didn't do the first mathematical equation. Do you think he's going to help us? No. He's not going to help us. We should have known before the person was hired. Doesn't know how to do the mathematics? The rest of it is a lie. Because numbers, they don't lie. Forget about lifestyles. A person has to be logic. If you have a preference of straight people, okay, what is the plan? You have this equation, how are you going to resolve it? You don't resolve it? Next. Until you get it resolved. Are they going to vote for a scoundrel without a plan? Yet because God is going to help us. God! Enough is enough. It's nonsense. Come on, if you are an employer, you give your worker, then prior of hiring, you give a problem, doesn't know how to resolve. Next. Not fit for the job. And then not only this, but then God, this kind of a God. Oh, let's verify what kind of a God that doesn't know how to resolve mathematical problems. Then, what kind of a religion is this person involved with? Mormons. It's a cult. Going around baptizing dead Jews, send them to heaven. Now wait a minute. Baptizing dead Jews and send them to heaven. Where did you get these from? From a cult? And then when this God in the future resolve our problems, you know what he's going to say to you? Study. You know, try to find a job until we get it resolved. Study. Be decent. Have your family. Take care of your family. Be responsible. Pay your dues. Pay your taxes. And find yourself a church and be a decent person. This is what you're going to get. Don't be mesmerized because it's God is coming to help us. This is precisely what you're going to get. In the near future, no plan. The economy nearly halting. Jobs very scarce. And then they're going to ask you, didn't you promise this? Oh, but God is doing the work. What about you? You have to study more. You have to do more. You have to take another course. You have to. And then on top of it, oh, you have to find yourself a church. You have to be decent because God only helps those who are helping themselves. What about the plan at first when he went over there and the debate couldn't resolve the problem? And then people later, oh, why did we vote for this scoundrel? And we knew it, he couldn't resolve the problem. Job creation. There was a study made by an independent company. Then numbers came out. 42 M's. There was a lot of jobs created. Versus 24. So do you think the 24 M's of the Republicans can then mesmerize you without a plan? Then using the same old tactics, do you think it's going to work? You have to be real stupid if you don't understand then mathematics. It's not going to work. Because the tactic to use it by the Republicans in the past never worked. And their tactic is they pile up junk, they pile up debts until the very end. They make it sometimes real nice. Gasoline's very low and, you know, nice. But then the debts they pile up. And they let the Republican come in, and that's what they do. They pile up debt, pile up debt, pile up debt. And then when the Democrat comes, they have to pay the debts. But then the economy has a time of being in partnership with reality. Because you only can have logic if you have reality. But then the Republicans, they pile up debt and then try to live in this fable of, you know, economical improvement. And then comes later the miracle workers. Oh, God is going to help us. No, God's going to be against you. Because then you have to do more. You have to study more. Then you have to finish university. You have to do your dues. He's going to turn against you. You are not doing enough. Because that's how the blame works. You put the hope on the person doesn't come out with an answer. You should then flush out the person. But then you have him mesmerized because God! A God doesn't know arithmetic. But then you're going to trust a God that does not know mathematics. And then of course the other problem is going to be you, because you vote for a scoundrel. And then this scoundrel is going to say in your face, no, you have to do more. What you were expecting for the president then to do more for you, then you have to do more for the president. Because you're not going to church. That's the problem. You have some sin in your life. That's the problem. You're not responsible enough. That's the problem. You have to go and then have to find more and do more and study more and get yourself a diploma, university, and find another job and be responsible for your family and then find a church. That's the way it works. So what you think it's so heavy at the moment by not having a plan but yet voting anyway, wait until this person gets you then. Quite honestly, I lived in a country where there were so many people that were miracle workers before the election. Oh boy, so many plans. You would get mesmerized with God, with I don't know what kind of other gods, but God was everywhere. There were them scoundrels over there that they used to steal money from the government, and they say, oh, they won the jackpot because God gave them favor. Yeah, it's true. We find politicians over there casting their names for higher positions, but then they had to release their tax slips. You know, taxes every year, you have to have a copy of your taxes. Then they would release the copy of their taxes. And then where did you get so much money from? Oh, God gave me. Because they won the jackpot at least twice. That's where the money was coming from. It's true, kid you not. And every time there was a problem, it's because God was there. It's the same story. When they find crap in these people's lives, and more crap, so if the candidate does not even show with the tax return, then you have truly to watch out, because he's going to use God as much as he can, because it's the only way he can cover it up. Did the GOP candidate show up with his tax return? No, he didn't. Got crap over there. You can't be sure of it, but then he uses God, because God. Have you had a chance to verify his tax return for these next 4 years? Is he paying his dues? You find crap over there. He's not paying tax properly. And then you're going to trust him without a plan, doesn't know how to do mathematics, but God! His God is going to turn against the whole nation. Oh, you can write it down. And then when the whole situation is plunder, then because you didn't do enough, you didn't go to church, you didn't pay your tithes, you did not have a family, oh, you were then jumping around, mate there, mate over there, and because your lifestyle, you didn't study enough, you didn't get a diploma. It's the same old junk. This is what it was then for decades. Do you think it's going to be any other way? And then people are going to stare at each other. Why did we vote for this scoundrel? Dang! We knew he couldn't resolve the mathematical problems before, and he was there in the pulpit talking junk. Couldn't resolve the problem. Why did we vote for him? At least 40 years of tax return should be shown. And then no tax return shown, then you begin to be a bit suspicious. A person doesn't know mathematics, doesn't know how to work the numbers of the nation, and then doesn't show up with tax returns. You find crap over there. This person should be flushed out anyway, doesn't have any plan. But then God! Boy, what a desire to say the F word. No, it comes with, start with F. F as in Frank. But it's not truly frank, while being frank. Lifestyles are private situations. But then if you vote for a person without a plan, then you are truly retarded. I don't care if you are the Pope or any other person, any other religious scoundrel anywhere in the world. The mathematical problems were given. Could you fix it? No. If you do this, then the other, it was tested, didn't work. Flush it out. Because later his religion is going to turn against you. Because he's going to use his religion then to put you down. Obviously, that's the way Republicans do to gain control. The whole scripture of the scoundrelized Greco-Roman was put together for this purpose. Then they gain leadership, and then you, the citizen, you are always the problem. So why going through this junk? Vote for Obama. Got a plan. Got his numbers from independent sources. It works. It's not a very glamorous plan, but at least it stabilizes. Slow creation of jobs, but then steady. You know, God! At least not a God that can deceive you. Please stay tuned. Much more coming up.